let's start with this main event. A last-minute replacement, Nassourdine Imavov will face Sean Strickland. Strickland stepping in for Kelvin Gastelum. Normally, it's Gastelum stepping in at the last second, but this time he's decided, you know what, I'm going to do what everyone else does. I'll step in and face Robert Whittaker at the last second. I'll face, who else is someone else that he got beat up by recently? He just gets beaten up for a Cannonier last second. Yeah, I'll face Cannonier, who cares? But he said, I'm having my turn now. He drops out. Sean Strickland comes in, says, I can't make 185, but let's do it at light heavyweight instead. So he faces Nassourdine Imavov, streaking French middleweight. Tom, what's your sense of this fight? Are you feeling like this is just going to be another Sean Strickland snooze fest?
Well, first a little comment on Gastelum, and I hope he rests up and gets well soon. I don't know if you saw that he succumbed to a mouth injury.
Yeah, I've not seen that before.
No, but it looks pretty nasty. Stay off of Twitter after dark, because faces like that, Gastelum, it's the stuff of nightmares. Don't know what's going on there, but hope he returns. I'm bummed out that fight's not happening. I was very interested to see how Gastelum would fare against Imavov. Imavov, as you say, he's streaking, he's running. Now, the last man he ran into was Joaquin Buckley of this here podcast, or soon to be. That's my last pick for 2023, by the way. Joaquin Buckley to join the pod.
Yes.
Now,
third mic.
Now, look, Joe, there are some similarities between Joaquin Buckley and Kelvin Gastelum. Unfortunately, not in the powwow, the pizzazz, the chat, but in the tiny frame.
Yeah.
For
the welterweight frame.
Buckley, the welterweight frame, yeah, exactly. And Buckley, he started getting to Imavov later on in that third round. I would like to see how a more cultured boxer in Gastelum would do. Would you be certain of an Imavov victory if that matchup did happen?
I would favour an Imavov victory in that, but there's an intangible that I was thinking about as well, is that we would have seen Kelvin Gastelum probably fighting for his UFC place, and what that would have done to his performance. Because the thing with Gastelum is that he kind of goes in there and he kind of fights the same game plan as everyone else. He's kind of got these long sort of looping hands where he doesn't really throw, and then when he goes into actual throw, he has that Darren Till sort of issue, which is, I've got these wavy hands, my hands are sort of flapping around. It's like, all right, now I'm going to throw, and I get him into my striking position. So once you learn his striking position, it's, the surprise isn't really there for Gastelum. So it would have been interesting to see that, and also against someone like Imavov, who is on the come up, and this would have been a good name for him. And also Gastelum probably would have forced the issue in a way that Strickland won't, in that he will try to push to get inside, and he will try to engage in those sort of clinch spaces, which is actually somewhere that Imavov would most want to be. Strickland, on the other hand, happy to fight on the outside, happy to sort of pick away that jab from outside, low leg kicks, which would then factor into it. And that is something that I think will factor into this fight, because Imavov doesn't really check them. Like Ian Heinisch was just able to throw and land them without much coming back. And same for the Buck. When he was doing those 9-shot combos to get in, he was sometimes finishing them with low leg kicks, and Imavov was just taking it.
And Joe, by the third round, what we saw is Imavov starting to wilt, and Buck was on the end of those combos, finding Imavov. I mean, I think we both left that fight thinking 5 rounds. Buckley might have just got it done.
Yeah.
Now, we got 5 rounds here. Strickland, known for his cardio. I don't know if I could guarantee the win for Imavov here. I would like to see how he stands up in those later rounds. I think he'll feel assured and confident as he did in Paris. I think he'll look very good early going, but I think Strickland will frustrate him. I don't think he'll be... We know he's hard to hit. He's right there, but he's hard to hit. Cannonier couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I thought Cannonier would land that big shot. never really got there.
No.
Strickland's very good at measuring that distance, very good at rolling with punches, very good at just staying just outside. So I've got to think, if Imavov's there going to style on him, thinks he's superior, he's got that mon ami, that French arrogance to him.
That je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, certain je ne sais quoi. I think Strickland might just upset him later on. A little sneaky feeling about that.
I mean, Strickland's a much more difficult test than Gastelum. I think that's fair to say. I mean, we there's maybe a part of us that still holds on to that memory. Hold on, I'm remembering, brother, of Gastelum's finest moment, which was that defeat to Adesanya, where he just emptied the jug and took years off his life in that search for glory and came up short, but it was a tremendous performance against Adesanya. And I don't know, it's going to be hard to see. I mean, I think if Strickland can keep it at that jab boxing range, I think he could probably pull away, win like rounds 2 to 5 quite easily. It's going to be interesting to see, though, if Imavov can get into that clinch space and work the clinches from there, throwing knees, throwing elbows from there, maybe getting in some trips to takedowns from there. When he finished Shabazian on the ground with that mounted crucifix, I doubt he'll get into that position against Strickland, who is a pretty good wrestler. But you never, ever know. I mean, when watching Imavov, I've always been impressed by how clean his striking is, but sometimes he just leaves his chin. He leaves his chin up there sometimes. He just doesn't go back, doesn't sort of close the door in the combinations, doesn't throw something to stop the guy coming back. So, but going forward, he can be very slick. 3-4 shot combinations, which is sometimes rare to see. In ranked middleweight fighters. So unless you're, the Dricus du Plessis going in a straight line, here's 10 shots in a row. One of them will hopefully land. So, but yeah,
in short, then, Joe, there's I mean, there's a lot to actually pick from this fight. They're both ranked. As I said previously, felt that Strickland did win against Cannonier, of course, by the thinnest of margins, and we commented extensively on that fight. We're talking a lot about Strickland again, but my point is, it's a matchup for me that makes sense. It's okay.
It's an okay matchup. I'm going to lean to Imavov. I'm going to go Imavov by decision. I think he'll be able to do enough in those first 3 rounds. I know, but that's why I'm sort of leaning towards. I get the sense that you're backing your boy. The red, white, and blue is pouring from your heart, and you're backing Strickland.
Hold on. Quick disclaimer here for all the listeners out there. Strickland is not my boy. I most certainly do not want my name attached to any comments that he may make. But I lent for Cannonier. Strickland, I wouldn't say he impressed me in that fight, but I had to give him his due. He didn't get clipped. He didn't get Poatan left hooked. And all right. I think should go in as an underdog. I haven't checked the odds, but I'll
minus. Minus 115 Imavov, minus 105 Strickland.
Oh, okay. If I was having those odds, I'd have Imavov. But I'm just saying, watch the fight, guys. There is something to see there.
For sure. Now, if Strickland loses this fight, that's 3 in a row. And I think that'd be him sort of done at the top end of middleweight. I know this is technically a light heavyweight fight, but this is like that Paulo Costa Vittori main event where it was done at light heavyweight. This is a middleweight fight for all intents and purposes, and I think this would be a good step up for Imavov, and actually might even get him into sort of title contender status if he does win this fight. You'd be looking at the likes of Vittori at that stage, most likely, or the winner of Vittori versus Delidze in March would be the most likely opponent for the winner of this.